If you're a beginner trying to play blues piano, then these two scales are everything you're going to need. I'll show you how to play them and how you can combine them to play cool solos like this. Alright, let's get right into the first scale. This is of course the blues scale, and more specifically the minor blues scale. So we're always going to be in this tonality of the C dominant. So we're going to have this chord for the left hand pattern, but you can also leave out the fifth. That's what you often do on the piano to make it sound not as like muddy. So play these three notes in the left hand, and let's check out the minor blues scale. So we have C, E flat, F, F sharp, G, B flat, and C. So play this one more time. C, E flat, F, F sharp, G, B flat, and C. And you can play it down as well. So this is our first scale, the minor blues scale. So what's cool about this scale is you have this minor third in here. So this is C minor triad, but in the left hand we have the major third. So these two notes like really rub against each other, create a dissonance, which makes this bluesy sound the way it is. So try and really lean into the sound if you haven't played around with this too much before. This is how it's supposed to sound. So another cool note is the F sharp. And this is most often a leading tone or passing tone to the G. Or also coming from above to the F. Okay, so let's check out the next scale, which is the major blues scale. So here we can apply a little trick. Now, for every scale, every major scale, we have a parallel minor scale. You get this from counting down 3 half steps or a minor third. So from C, this would be 1, 2, 3. The A. Now what that just means is C major and A minor both have the same key signature, the same accidentals, which in this case is of course 0. So we play only white notes for C major. And we also play only white notes for A minor. Now if we build our blues scale, so we have A, C, D, E flat, E, G, and A. So again, this is the same scale, but now in A. But now let's check out what happens if we don't play it over A, but over the C chord. So let's play it an octave higher. Now, of course, this is the A minor blues scale, but we'll count this as our C major blues scale. Now, what makes this the major blues scale, if we start the scale from the C, it almost sounds like a major pentatonic. This would just be C, D, E, G, A, C. But we have the added E flat in here. So for this scale, we do have the major third included in our scale. Remember from before the minor blues scale, we only had the minor third. Now we actually have the major third in there as well. And as for the F sharp, in this case, it's the E flat, which is this kind of leading tone. So now we have two options, one with a more minor sound and one with a more major sound. Now for a blues progression, it usually goes like this. You have the C dominant 7, then you have F dominant 7, then back to C, and then you have G, F, and C. You can all play them with the same shape, and it's always this dominant, major dominant 7 sound. Now, for which chords do we use which scale? This is where it gets interesting. So I recommend, of course, you can, for the C, use both. So this would be the minor blues scale. And now let's check out how the major blues scale would sound over the C. Also has a cool sound, and it's a little more bright maybe. Now for the F, I would recommend really using only the minor blues scale. And the reason for this is, if we play the F dominant 7, of course we have the F and the E flat, which is the 7th. And if we would use the major blues scale, we would get the major 7 of F, which we don't really want because it clashes just a bit too much with the sound of the dominant 7 and major 7. That doesn't work quite well at the same time. So stick to the minor blues scale for that one. And then for the G, you can use the minor blues scale, or you can also kind of use the major blues scale, but here it's not as clear as for the C. So my recommendation would be for the F dominant 7 and for the G7, both just stick to the minor blues scale, it works best there. And then going back to the tonic, you can use the major blues scale to kind of indicate we're home and more in this majory sound. So now let me give you a backing track you can improvise over using these two scales. I'm going to play through an entire blues form and try to notice when I'm changing from the C to F and G, so you can switch the scales accordingly. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, on. On to F. Back to C. Now G. And back to C. One more time. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you want to check out more of my free content, I've made some step-by-step courses which are completely free to watch. Check out the link in the video description or in the pinned comment. If you want to learn more about improvisation, chord playing, all of that good stuff, there's lots of materials in my free community. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then leave a like, let me know in the comments, and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more like this in the future. And I'll see you guys again in the next lesson.